few.
What's the total they need?
They're 2,383.
Okay, so they need more delegates then.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, and Clinton, according to this colored bar chart, it looks like Clinton holds the same pledged delegates, which would coincide with the bare win and the almost loss, and everything's kind of close. So pledged delegates are pretty close for Clinton and Sanders. Sanders has a little sliver of super delegates, and Clinton has a little bit more super delegates. Sanders is holding 70 delegates.
Total, right.
Total.
70 total, okay.
And Clinton, 502.
Where did all those delegates come from?
It looks like 95% of them are all super delegates.
Oh, my God. This is maddening.
Look at that chart.
It's maddening.
Look at that chart.
So she holds about 6 or 7 times more, actually 7 times, more than 7 times as many delegates as Bernie Sanders right now. And
they've only done three caucuses.
She is more than a fifth of the way to the minimum she needs to win the entire primary.
Right.
So she's
you
like,
go out and vote for Sanders, and
she's almost a quarter of the way there. And Bernie Sanders needs 7 times more than what he has just to catch up with her.
Just to catch up, right.
This is not democracy. This is literally a coronation. Like, literally. Right. You'll hear it, and when you hear it on the news, and I actually fell for it too, when I hear people talk about Clinton being coronated, I think, oh, well, that's just a figure of speech. And what they mean by that is that the media, the journalists out there, the liberal journalists, they all want Clinton, and they're going to tell you that's who's going to be the Democrat nominee. And by telling you that, it becomes a self-fulfilled prophecy. You're going to go out and vote for the one that is supposed to win because you want to feel like a winner.
Well, yeah, Rush has talked about this a lot. People vote because you don't want to vote for a loser.
Right. There are people who it's like I would imagine it would probably be a majority of voters out there just don't want to pick the wrong. It's like I got a ball in my hand. One hand. Pick which one it's in. You don't want to pick the hand that doesn't have the ball in it.
Right. You don't want to be wrong.
Right. And so people don't say, well, I'm going to vote for whoever because that's who more closely represents what I feel is best for the country. Instead, you're like, well, who do I think is going to win? And so the media tells you who is supposed to win, and then you will then say, well, I better pick the winner because it'll make me feel better to know that I picked the winner.
See, the media knows this.
Right.
They pay for polls like this.
But here's my point, though. Right. So here's my point. My point is that I thought that that's what they meant by it being a coronation. Turns out it's a coronation because it doesn't matter whether you vote or not because she has already been picked by the people who are actually selecting who your nominee is if you are a Democrat.
Correct the mundo.
So there you go. It just blows my mind. My mind is blown.
And over on the Republican side,
which is the Democratic Party. If you want to be Democratic,
right.
If you want to be Democratic, you will hop on to the Republican Party because they're the only ones that are Democratic.
Right. And at this point in time, right now, the people are showing the world that the GOP doesn't pick or will not pick.
Because if they did,
this year,
Trump would have been gone.
Oh, boy, did they try hard.
Nobody except for at least a third, sometimes more, of the people who vote in primaries want Trump. At least a third, sometimes not quite. He has not even come close to half yet. But he's getting somewhere between a third and a half of the people that vote in the Republican primaries or that are being polled nationwide would prefer Trump. nobody in the media, nobody in the establishment Republican Party want Trump. And yet, he still leads because this is a democracy.
The Pope doesn't want Trump.
Well, he's not even American.
But he's getting into the politics of it all,
Apparently,
man.
he wants to try to sway. And you know what's funny? This is how you might be able to figure this out, because Brian's not Catholic, but he's very religious. He goes to church every Sunday and all that. But it's not a Catholic church. And I am Catholic. Now, here's the thing. I actually watched, I think it was F. Chuck Todd, this morning, talking to Cruz and pointing out that how did Trump win, even though the Pope came out against him, when South Carolina is loaded with, not only loaded with evangelicals, but just the evangelicals alone voted for Trump.
Okay, sorry, spoiler alert. Carrie just spoiled your alert. In case you were sleeping, Trump won.
Oh, Trump won South Carolina. Yeah. By the time you're listening to this, if you don't know by now,
well, I've got new poll numbers out.
Well, what's the reason why
white evangelicals?
Okay, there you go.
And why Reuters had to call them white evangelicals?
Yeah, what is that? What is that? I mean, what are they?
They are furthering the divide. What do they get? Excuse me, sir. Are you white? No, man. No, I'm not. Oh, okay. We've got another poll, and we'll probably call you next week.
No, it's like this. Like, what do they mean by white evangelicals? When they call somebody up to poll them, they say, "Okay, are you evangelical?" Yes, I am an evangelical Christian.
Are you Caucasian?
No, I'm not. Oh, bye. Like, what is that? So, they only polled, they made sure, like, there cannot be anybody but white people in this particular poll.
Blows my mind.
Like, what do they mean, white evangelicals? That, to me, that is a very, very clever sleight of hand. That's what we call propaganda.
Right.
All it was, by throwing in white evangelicals, was a subliminal message to everybody listening that when we talk about evangelicals, we're talking about Nazi, racist, the Confederate flag waving hillbillies.
Wow.
Rednecks.
Wow, yeah. Right.
We're not even talking about evangelicals. We're literally talking about the race of people that you hate.
Okay, so that wraps that up for you, and they polled the people you hate.
Okay.
That claim to go to church.
Yeah, when we see evangelicals, in case you don't know what evangelicals are, that's what it is.
Right.
It's for those of you who forgot or never knew because you're new to this. What does that mean, evangelical? Oh, white people. White. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, those white Bible-thumping, gun-toting, Sarah Palin following, Kool-Aid drinking.
All of the above. Right.
Okay, so the poll that they did for South Carolina, this was the 18th of February, which was Friday, I believe. 1892. No, Thursday. Last Thursday, this poll came out. This was amongst evangelicals in South Carolina. 5% polled for Carson. Jeb came in at 9%.
Just is pretty high. That's significant. A tenth of all the voters voted for Jeb.
Rubio at 14. Ted Cruz at 23.
Pretty high.
Trump at 42.
Now these are just evangelicals. This isn't the whole the statewide poll. This is just evangelical.
White evangelicals.
Right. If there's any
in South Carolina,
if there's any black evangelicals, they were hung up on.
What? They were what?
They were hung up on.
Oh wait!
Whoa. Oh, come on!
No, you did.
Jeez. See, this is why I can't be in politics. They would take me out of context so bad.
Oh,
so anyway, but here's the point. F. Chuck Todd is obviously completely clueless to Christianity and the different sects of Christianity, right. The different denominations, if you will, because he couldn't understand why evangelicals would come out in droves and possibly even more in droves once the Pope comes out and blasts on him.
Right.
And the reason is because the evangelicals really don't like Catholics.
No.
They
Not at all.
don't. Evangelicals will tell you, a lot of them will tell you, that Catholics aren't even really Christian.
Oh, because they don't.
They don't like Catholics.
Yeah.
They don't like the way that they worship Jesus. They don't like the way everything's set up.
The biggest thing I've ever heard is that they don't like the Mother Mary, Joseph.
They think that that Catholics worship Mary.
They pray to
Mary,
at least
yeah.
Mary, if not other saints.
Right, and so when the Pope came out and blasted Trump, that gave them a reason to be fired up about him.
Right.
And F. Chuck Todd was totally clueless on that this morning on Meet the Depressed or Face the Nation or whatever. Deface the Nation.
Deface the Nation.
Yeah, whatever he's on. I don't even know, and I don't even care because whatever.
So the final numbers for the Republicans in South Carolina. Now, this article was by Reuters, and I'll just kind of read it off, kind of give you a feel-good heads up of what happened and their take on it.
Okay.
And here's how the article goes. With 99% of South Carolina precincts reporting, Trump had 32.5%, followed by Rubio at 22.5%. Third place, Cruz at 22.3%. So Rubio 22.5, Cruz 22.3.
Ooh, that's so close. That's razor thin.
Right.
By the way, F. Chuck Todd, he blasted on Cruz. He said, "You came in third place," because Cruz was talking about how we're doing great, we're doing better, and finally, just Chuck Todd kind of blasted on him.
What was that article I put up this week? Cruz's campaign manager came out and said we knocked on 100,000 doors.
Okay.
In South Carolina.
Okay.
We've got this thing locked in.
He didn't even beat Rubio. And this is when Jeb was still... This was before Jeb dropped out.
Oh, another spoiler alert.
By the way, breaking news.
Spoiling it all day.
Jeb has dropped out.
So the dynasty is dead. The dinosaur dynasty is dead.
It's not yet because we have Clinton still in it. And now we have the Clinton dynasty.
Okay. So here's how Reuters puts it in their view. And Reuters is I feel like they tend to be a little
No, they're definitely liberal. They're definitely liberal.
So they put it this way. Cruz's inability to distinguish himself from Rubio in the state that was a blow to his campaign, which had invested heavily there to rally support among South Carolinians' large population of evangelical voters. Trump's victory won him at least 44 of the state's 50 delegates.
44 out of 50?
Yeah.
Trump did?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
That's a lot.
Bringing his delegate count, as we said before, to 61.
Well, you spoiled it then.
I did spoil it.
Okay. Well, you'd have had to really figure that out. Like, how did he get 61?
Well,
because he won South Carolina.
Right, and that was the thing, too, because we didn't add it all
So
up.
that was not necessarily a winner-take-all state.
No.
But it almost was. 44 out of 50, that's almost winner-take-all.
Right.
And you only got, what,
So 6 delegates in South Carolina were split amongst Cruz, Rubio.
Oh, my gosh.
Carson. Let's see. Chris Krusty's out. Santorum's out. Kasich Kasich. They divvied up some for Kasich. Dude, he's hanging on.
He's clinging. Do you know Santorum? You know why? Santorum, did you know Santorum was the last man standing last cycle with Mitt Romney?
That's amazing, isn't
But
it?
he was never even close. Do you know why he held out to be the last man standing?
Money?
No. Because he wanted to be able to go into this election cycle saying he came in second place. He figured that he was going to be the guy that was next in line.
So it's okay to
Like, hey, you gotta, because why? We know that historically speaking, and obviously you can throw that all out the window now, but historically speaking,